getting into the hobby is really difficult, to be honest. There's a really steep learning curve, and you need to have a lot of sort of persistence to get through a lot of the sort of technical things like soldering and doing all that stuff and building your own. So yeah, so if you really want to get into it, then you start at the deep end and you buy all the bits you need for a 5-inch quad, and yeah, you end up with something like this. So this is kind of like this is the end goal, I guess, for a lot of people. It's like this is the thing that they want to be flying. And if you are like really persistent and you know that's what you want to do, then that's where you start. And you go and you buy all the pieces and you put things together, and it takes you weeks of research, and you crash a lot and you break a lot of things, and then you keep buying stuff. And then you either end up like really annoyed and really broke, or you get into the hobby and you persevere. On the other end of the scale, you've got these sort of little micro sort of toy things. These are like 10, 20 pounds. And they're kind of fun, I suppose, for a little bit anyway, but they are toys, they don't give you the same experience as something like this. But now I think we found this perfect middle ground, which I think is one of these. This is a BetaFPV 65X. The X is this new series of 2S sort of mini Whoop style drones. And yeah, I think these look like they're going to be the exact sort of intro that I'm looking for to show all my friends. I think this is now going to be the tool that I'm going to use to like convince my friends to take that final step, to go from just like, oh yeah, that looks kind of cool and I'd really like to learn that, to like throwing them in on one of these, giving them the real radio. Because the really good thing about this is, instead of using like these little plastic controllers that you get with like the toy drones, you get to use the real thing. You get to use like a proper transmitter, and you get to use the Fatshark goggles as well. So I have all those things. So just buying this was like a really nice, cheap way of experiencing like whoop flying around the house, and also something that I can put my friends in, and I can put them in the goggles, and I can say, go on, fly around in this and see how much fun it is, and then they'll see like the appeal on the drive, and then yeah, and then maybe they'll get their own, and then maybe I'll have more people to fly with. Because really that's what this is all about. It's just trying to get more people into the hobby, and then I have more people to fly with. It's purely selfish, but yeah. All right, let's have a look inside this thing. This is the BetaFPV 65X. I got it from Drone Junkie. A really nice thing about Drone Junkie is they always send you sweets and loads of stickers, which is really cool. So let's just crack on in. All right, fairly straightforward. There's a spare set of props, spare canopy, and there he is. That's it. No assembly required. You see he's looking pretty cool in blue and clear. There's two little Whoop batteries that sit side by side, so it just sort of connects two together, and that's how you get the extra power. So the batteries that come with it are these little BetaFPV 260 milliamp 1-cell high voltage batteries. They're a little bit of a different shape to the Whoop ones that I have. They're sort of slightly thicker, and you can see there they're a lot shorter. Don't know if that's going to upset the balance on the frame, because I have a whole bunch of these, so I'm definitely going to be using a lot of these with him. So I hope that won't be too much of an issue. I don't think it will. It should be fine. But yeah, let's work out how to bind this guy, and then off we go. Nothing really else in the box, just some QR codes. Not much fun. Alright, there you can see they're actually quite similar in size to these little micro toys that you get. So these are like £20 or whatever, but the difference is these are only fly in stabilized flight. They don't have changeable batteries, don't have a camera, you can't use your own rate. Like these are just toys. This you can fly full acro. It has BetaFlight on the board. It has an F4 processor, which is the same as what's in this, which is insane to me. Like this has the same flight controller chip, the same ARM processor. It's a cool little FPV camera. The only thing you can't get on these that you can on this is obviously you can't stick a GoPro on it, because the GoPro weighs 3 times this on its own, so it's not really going to work. They are little tiny brushless motors though, which is really cute, and yeah, everything about it just feels like they've hit all the sweet spots in terms of the power and the efficiency and the fun as well. So I think it's just gonna have to plug it in and see what happens. Hopefully it won't explode. It's so cute, it still has the little ESC sounds. That's adorable. The only thing you have to do that's kind of manual is you need to bind the transmitter. Okay, now the solid red LED means that it's in bind mode. So now we can get the receiver and do our model creation, and then we will do the little bind. So I think it's D8. They usually are, these little micros. So if I press bind now, no, maybe it's D16 then. That would be cool. Nope. I thought this was going to be really easy. The whole video was going to be, look how easy it is to now just get flying. But unfortunately I live in the UK and we use EU LBT transmitters that can now no longer be changed. And the flight controller, I mean the receiver on this, I think is FCC. So have to change it, which means I had to completely take him apart. So now he's in all number of pieces, which kind of makes the whole bind and fly and off you go argument to this really kind of doesn't really work anymore, right? So well, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm still gonna use this as a tool to show people how cool and how fun flying is. I'll just recommend that they buy a different different micro drone if they're ever going to get one themselves, or you know, maybe I'll sort it out for them. But yeah, so all we're going to do is now we're going to flash the XM receiver because the receiver is the wrong country. Alright, so now we have a little receiver with a pigtail on it, and what that lets us do is this plugs straight into the bottom of the receiver, like that. And then that means we can use the receiver, the transmitter, to flash the receiver. Well, that's the theory, but I soldered it, which means that it might pop instead, you never know. So we download the firmware from the FrSky website, so let's do that now. So the firmware is for FrSky. This very handy non-link here, brilliant, well done guys. What is this? Oh good. As you can see, it's really easy to find your firmware when you need it. FrSky have made it super user-friendly. Let's try and download firmware. Okay, this is fine actually. This is much easier. Fix the bug. There was just one, and we fixed it. I'm gonna get the one after that. All right, that's cool. That wasn't too hard actually. Right, so now we have to get it onto the radio. This isn't that easy actually, is it? It's not that straightforward. So we have to get the firmware onto the radio. So the best thing to do is use the SD card that is in the radio. So I will just copy the files onto that, and then they should be picked up by the radio. So when you find the firmware on the SD card, you can choose to flash S port, which is the thing at the bottom. Obviously there's the internal module, there's the external module, which is the XJT part on the back, and then this is the S port. So I've selected the firmware in the file manager on here, and I'm going to press flash S port, and then I'm going to see what happens. It says writing. Well, it's done, I think. Crikey, how would we know? I mean, it's hard to tell now, apart from just wire it back to the thing and see if it works. Okay, let's do that then. We've flashed our little XM receiver that came with the BetaFPV. Now, it seems like it's all working. It's all soldered back to the board. So now let's put the little guy back together. fuck off. These are little fuckers, man. Alright, so I put them all back together again. Now he's got his new, not new, but he's got a reflashed receiver in there now. So let's try again with the bind process. Chap chap, that means he's ready to bind. Alright. Yes! So now you can tell it's bound because you've got the green light and the fast flashing red light. Oh yeah! Holy shit, it's fast. This is really quick. This is great. I can see me having a lot of fun with this. I think this might be one of the best purchases in the world. I can't turn it on now, my cat will get it. That's a bigger test for the VTX now. I'm really impressed with the video. It's 25. I mean, I know we're not far away, but it's still very clear. And you know, there's a good amount of walls between me and this. Oops. That's impressive. Alright, so I've had a little fly around. Done its Maiden, and it's really good. It's really good fun. I've already lost a screw that's popped out, which is probably going to be a problem. God knows where it is, somewhere in the house. But I will try and find it and put it back. But the point is, yeah, these things are really exciting. I think these are probably a little bit too powerful for a first whoop, because I'm finding this really crazy hard. So a 1S whoop first, maybe, just so you get used to the sort of nippiness and the craziness of whoops. But yeah, being able to fly full acro and air mode and all that stuff, you could easily go outside with one of these, although it's too windy today, which is why I thought I'd do a video on this guy today, because it's so shit outside, it's not really good for flying. But inside, yeah, you realize how small your house is when this thing goes as fast as it does. But yeah, I will highly recommend, and I'll be showing it to all my friends. It's a shame it wasn't as easy as just the sort of out-the-box experience for me. And if you are in Europe and you've got a Taranis that's locked, because the newer Taranises, you can't flash the internal RF to a non-EU anymore. It just doesn't work, or it didn't seem to for me. If anyone can get that to work, then by all means give it a go. I couldn't get it to work. But yeah, apart from that, these things are wicked, really exciting. If you've got a load of whoop batteries lying around, get the 65X, because that takes 2 of them. Or if you want there's a slightly larger one, there's a 75 as well. That is probably even faster, and that uses XT30 connectors on a 2S battery. I think that one probably can have more storage as well, and it's probably better for outside. But this guy, I don't know, 65 is the same sort of size as the whoops, is what you're used to. It's just really, really fast. You can use the same propellers as the old whoops, the same batteries, so all of your stuff will transfer. And it's just stupid fast. So I'll leave with some flight footage now from the DVR. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.